Just to latch on to what Brother Yunus has said, to be honest, in a world plagued by Islamophobia, I feel that question number one is a very difficult question, because I personally, on a personal level, I have never experienced Islamophobia in its true might. I don't want to give away my age as well. I am the fourth child in sequence of, my mom had 6 children and I'm number 4. So before, what happened before me, I cannot speak of that. But I do read a lot about Islamophobia. I don't think that Islamophobia is such a big issue in South Africa and Cape Town, because the people in Cape Town are very open to Islam. I think when it comes to Dawah, I would say that the best way is to firstly do Dawah by our manners, to let our behavior speak for itself. So let's say, for example, you are a Muslim receptionist at a bank and you are the most cooperative. That is the best Dawah for you. In the state that you are, I would say rather it is best to that the best da'wah is your manners before your words. Secondly, when it comes to da'wah, I'm going to be a little bit anecdotal where that is concerned. I've been working with an organization within the Naqshbandi Tariqa, and I have grassroots experience where giving da'wah is concerned. And I just want to explain that when we give da'wah and we speak to non-Muslims, as a point of departure, it is better to highlight our similarities before we highlight our differences. When you speak to Christians and Jews or anyone following a divine prophet, that we have a common ground, and just as they revere a particular prophet, we also revere them. It is part of our faith to say, Amantu billah wal malaikati wa kutubi wa rusuli. They are all prophets and we don't make distinction. They come with a message and they were all sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that perspective, they are all equal from Adam to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Jews believe in all prophets and stop by Nabi Musa alayhi salam and don't believe in Nabi Isa. And Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Christians believe in all prophets except Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to complete a mission, and he left behind 2 things, the Quran and the Sunnah. And in some narrations, he left behind the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Each and every prophet came with a message of Tawheed. So when we do da'wah, we have to be easy in our approach. Don't immediately give people details of the deen and expect them to do everything immediately. If a person embraces Islam, be gentle and caring and help the poor and the needy. Give them the basics of what Islam stands for, the principles and the beauty of the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is exactly how Islam was introduced in the Arabian Peninsula, stage by stage. And it is exactly that made it such a successful religion and accepted by people because of this hikmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I just want to use a few examples. I don't know if, I'm sure Brother Yunus is familiar with the area Blikkiesdorp. And so we used to go into this area and we used to make dhikr with everyone. And we would always take food with us to feed the people, because people are hungry, and you need to provide that for them as well. And so on this one specific day, so because it is something that you don't start and you stop, it has to go on all the time. So because the people of the area became so used to our cars and us coming there, when they would see the cars pulling into Blikkiesdorp, the children would start running towards wherever we're going to park. And Blikkiesdorp in itself is like a concentration camp. I know maybe Brother Yunus knows about it. It's like these tin housings, and on this one day, we would be opening the mats. There was no masjid in the area yet. And we're opening the mats and putting up gazebos. And this one little boy comes to us and he gives us a letter. And he did not give it to me. He gave it to Muhammad Patel. I would never forget this day. And Muhammad Patel opens this letter and he looks in shock. And he says to me, you wouldn't believe what this is. And at that time, Sheikh Yusuf the Coster, who at the time was the Khalifa of the Naqshbandi Tariqa in Cape Town, he gave the letter to Sheikh Yusuf, and Sheikh Yusuf read the letter, and it said that I, the mother of this boy, let's call him Jonathan, I, the mother of Jonathan, give permission for Jonathan to embrace Islam and to sit with your gathering. And this is the kind of experience on the ground level that you see when you go in. Also, when I was, I think it's about maybe 10 years ago, or maybe 11 or 12 years, Sheikh Yusuf gave me a mandate, and he said to me, Aisha, I want you to go into this area. It's called Factiton, also known as the Cliff Hut, where everything happens. Abuse and drugs and everything happens. And well, I went into the area, and lucky for me, it was not a strange area to me. Reason being is that we just lived like the area next to Factiton would be Kensington, so they're very close in terms of geography perspective. And well, my mandate was that Sheikh Yusuf wanted me to establish a salahana, a soup kitchen, and establish the dhikr. At that time, I was given the permission to do the Naqshbandi dhikr, to lead the Naqshbandi dhikr with a group of ladies. And I would go into the area. And so the first thing we did was we identified people that we could use as key people in the area. And I mean, skipping now a lot of things. Sheikh Yusuf asked me, have I identified any land that we could use for madrasa and soup kitchen and use as a center for da'wah and a lot of other things as well. Anyway, so about 2 months later, I came to Sheikh Yusuf and I said, look, we found a piece of ground. It's the owner of the house is Auntie Aisa, and she has given us permission to use the land in that way. And immediately when I gave Sheikh Yusuf the go-ahead, there is place, immediately within 1 week, we had a building that was standing, a Wendy house kind of, I think it was like 10 meters long by 4 meters. And from there, everything happened. I just want to bring to one point, the moment we opened the madrasa to the public, there was already 50 students in the madrasa. That is how hungry the area, the parents were for the children to learn about Islam, and to consistently go back every single day to do that. In this madrasa, we had not only Muslim children. What was profound for me was some of these children were Christian, and they would sit through madrasa every single day for 2 hours. from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock every single day. And the reason I quickly found out that at home, mommy and daddy wasn't there, and there was no food at home. So they would come to madrasa because they knew there you would get something to eat before madrasa starts, and you will have madrasa, and then afterwards you will get something to eat, and then you can go home. I found in these places that the children, they were so hungry that they would drink water just to have something in their stomach, and it would cause them to throw up. And this is, in my experience, has been very impactful, going into an area and using a gentle approach and not overburdening people. Today you are Muslim, tomorrow you must do everything, you must salah and fast and give all of those things, not to be hard on those people as well. And then definitely to feed people is very important. The Prophet ﷺ loved to be among the poor people, and that is something that we must not forget. I remember also Sheikh Yusuf da Costa telling me once, Aisha, if you have a choice between making dhikr in Factoryton with the poor people and a richer person or a rich person ask you to go to Constantia, you give the poor person that preference, and you go to that poor person. Also, in my experience, that if you do it this way, people will fall in love with your manners, and they fall in love with the fact that you are gentle, and not the fact that you're wearing a fez and your scarf is so big and so beautiful and all those kinds of things. And then also when the madrasa was established, Brother Yunus, we then had to find someone to teach madrasa, because I was not able to do everything, And then the problem that we had was no one was prepared to go into the cliff hut and go and teach there. The first thing I was asked, is my car going to be safe there? And I'm telling you, for the 5 years I spent in Factoryton, and at the time I was driving a Mercedes compressor, never did anything ever happen to my car. I remember the time when we went to Rondebosch East Mosque, our car was broken into there. And you build this rapport and this relationship with the people of the area, and they get so used to you being there. And I think for me, that is the most impactful way that I have now seen, is not to just, give a message and leave, is to stay with them and encourage that kind of environment, inshallah. Shukran so much.